Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Experience with me, Barry Wolf, and
me, Dave G.
And tonight, we seem to have gone all blank on the Facebook. Everything was fine until I actually started it. So I'm going to stop it and I'm going to start it again and see if that actually does anything.
I think we're definitely broadcasting live.
No. Oh, what's going on?
Normal flurry of activity.
Right. Apparently we.
Christine's in the chat room.
Christine's in. DJ Bill. Oh man, it's good again.
Oh, what's going on? Normal flurry of activity.
Right.
There we go.
Apparently we. I'm getting carried away here. Right, there we go. Well, for some reason the cameras. I don't know if people. Is anybody? Well, they were logged into it, but apparently you can't be seen on the camera. It's blank. It's like looking at it from here, and yet it was working until I pressed to go live. So. I don't know what's happening there. But anyway, so tonight, what are we going to be talking about here? Well, last week we obviously talked about Annabelle. Ironically enough, I just switched my computer on and there was the picture of Annabelle on the screen.
It was funny because I was looking through, I was having a look through the Facebook page and I saw obviously all the photographs of the dolls that we put on. And we've had quite a few people have a look, so I was quite excited about that, the fact that people have actually had a look. And hope it didn't creep you out, but it was pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? It was pretty. They were pretty creepy, like.
Yeah, they were. I mean, although obviously the dolls, it's still the dolls, aren't they? And, and I think that probably creeps people more out because a doll or a teddy bear or any kind of cuddly toy, you would have it as like sort of a comfort, wouldn't you? Like a comfort blanket. Whereas these dolls weren't very comforting.
No, they weren't. They weren't, not at all. Not at all.
So yeah, and then
you've got to be honest though. Some of those dolls have actually been given as a gift. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
as a little baby looking around and that, and you're thinking, that's.
Well,
nice.
that's the thing. I mean, like sort of, you go somewhere to buy something for your child, or as I was telling you just before the show, there, I was recently visiting my grandson. So I'm obviously looking at stuff to buy him, especially with what's coming up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I would look at something like that and I go, no.
We've had a glorious technology failure there.
Oh, right. What's happened?
It's working now, but it wasn't.
Oh, recording. Oh, it wasn't recording now.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, fair enough. Well, we seem to be having lots of
technical difficulties.
Can the people on Facebook see us? Is there anybody in the chat room?
Christine said that we're on Facebook
because I can't see anything. It's completely black. So obviously the spooks are getting into the system and they don't want us to see us. They're not allowing us to be seen. But if you can see us, that's all that matters because that's what we need. So so these toys, you give them to somebody and it's like they go to sleep with them and whatever. And then you look at these pictures on Facebook and you think, really? Who actually thought about it?
I know.
I can see you. That's what Christine just said.
Excellent. I mean, you do think about it. It's just one of the things, isn't it? You kind of. I mean, you sort of like I say now. When we were talking last week about the couple of dolls that my sister's got, I was actually talking to my mum, and she actually said that they've still got. I can't remember. I think it was called Humble.
Play School.
Play School. That was it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was called Humble.
I mean, she was a spooky doll.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your sisters look like, but if she looked like the handball from Play School, she was a pretty spooky doll.
It was a relatively disapproving look.
Yeah.
It's the best way to put it.
Definitely. Yeah, but as I say, there was the other one as well because she wasn't that particularly.
Was it Humble? Was it Humble and Jemima?
Yes, I think it was Jemima. I'm sure somebody out there will tell us, but I'm sure it was Jemima.
Humble and Jemima.
I can see you and hear you, says Margaret.
Excellent. Hello, Margaret.
So there we go. We've got Margaret and Christine in the Facebook. I keep saying the Facebook. Why do I keep saying the Facebook?
Because you're an old man.
Because I'm an old man. Oh.
Hey, I can say that.
You're
technically older than me.
I was going to say, yeah. One day. It's like somebody who I was talking to I was talking to somebody in the taxi the other day, and they were on about, the youth of today. And they were saying, like, sort of, we know what it's like to be old, but they don't know what it's like to be young. And I always remember, was it Orson Welles who had that song? And that was the name of the song. I know what it's like to be old, but you don't know what it's like to be young. No, I know what it's like to be young, but you don't know what it's like to be old. And it basically, what he's saying is, I know what it's like to be 50, but you don't.
Yeah. It's half a century.
So yeah, so
not far behind you, mate.
I was going to say, we've still got your party to come to.
Yeah, that's true. 3 years. 3 years. Thankfully.
3 years?
You're
only 47?
47.
You've only just turned 47?
47 last month. Then the look is you think I was
going to say,
like a day over 52.
Yeah, well, what are you trying to say? I'm not a day over 52. Well, I am a day over 52. I'm a few days over 52. So yeah, and we were also talking about James Dean's car.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat the name of the car because that would just be
wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrong.
Christine says he's just a baby.
I know.
Well,
I keep telling myself that.
She was either saying that to you or me, but I'm thinking it's probably you that she was saying it to because I'm definitely not a baby.
Christine, she's a canny lass, that Christine.
I don't know what you were saying the other day about.
Right, we're just going to go off air for 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, Paddy, where did you get that black eye from?
As Paddy comes on with a higher pitched voice.
So anyway,
actually, funny enough, we can do that.
what give me? Oh yes, we were doing that last week, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Well,
there you go.
It sounded. What did you call them? Was it the Moomins?
No, it was the Chipmunks.
The Chipmunks. Right?
Robin and the Chipmunks.
The Moomins just made lots of noise, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They just
like whistled and what have you in the Soup Dragon.
Yeah. That was it.
Exactly. Yeah. Did they make a comeback? But it was very unsuccessful, and now they're not around.
Do you know what? I haven't seen. I tend not to watch TV, but never mind.
Yeah, but you hear about it, don't you?
I don't know, do you?
That's my excuse.
Right.
So anyway,
obviously we've been going. What is it now? We've been going about 10 minutes.
Well, we've gone half an hour last week before we actually got into the paranormal because we were too busy talking about me trying to kill my daughter with the paranormal.
Oh yeah. Did she been in contact about that?
No, she hasn't.
Oh, bless her.
But I was actually
visited by social services.
No, I was actually accosted or told off, shall I say?
You got told off
from Aaron.
Well done, Aaron. Well done.
Because I'm saying about it should have been Aaron that I poured water. So
I know.
He turned around to me and he said, "I can tell you because he works early in the morning. The show goes out too late for him.
Yeah.
So you can only listen to some of it, or he waits until he gets the repeat."
Yes.
You know, or he goes onto YouTube and downloads it or whatever.
Yeah.
But he listens to it anyway, but not when it's going out live, simply because of the fact that, like I say, he's supposed to work early in the morning. I mean, he's like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Just to wake out of bed, he's actually starting work.
I think we're still sitting at McDonald's at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he obviously he was tagged by Sean, his best mate, last week. In the comment.
No.
So obviously he's seen the comment and then
well done, Sean. Well done.
So I got told off Aaron for dissing him, as he said.
Right, okay, just while you're doing that, Paddy, I'm going to jump in there.
I'm not doing that.
I saw you move for your computer, of course.
Right.
Guys, if you want to come join us in the chat room, it is amronradio.com, and you just go along, you click on the top line there and you'll see Amron Radio chat. And also what you can actually do is, as well as go into the contact. So what I'm going to do is, if you get yourselves ready, guys, I'm going to give you the numbers. If you'd like to ring in, it's 01207 795 005. Or if you want to text us, you can text, the short number is 60777. And please start your message with 89MX4. I need to get mine out there.
Well, you could, because you still have yours here.
Or you can start your message with JEGQE in capital letters, or 89MX4.
Just to confuse it even more.
Yeah, I can hear people's heads rotating now. And we've also got the WhatsApp.
What sort of people have we got? Isn't it sure that their heads rotate?
Well, they've obviously got an interest in the paranormal. We might even talk about it tonight as well.
Well, at some point we might, yeah.
And WhatsApp is 077 4266 0483. So that's 077 4266 0483. And I promise I'm going to learn that off by heart.
So make sure that you get in touch with us, because obviously, as you know, those that have listened to the show regularly, there's a mad rush for people ringing the show.
Yeah, we can hardly contain ourselves, the amount of people ringing in.
Exactly. So
well done, Christine.
Yeah. Christine's our most prolific phone caller.
Did she get top fan status?
Yeah, top fan.
There you go, Christine. You're top fan.
She's in the chat room and she's on Facebook, so she obviously is.
I'm just waiting for the phone to ring now, and she's going to.
Yeah, just like that.
Top fan status. Well done. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well,
what's going on
so
there?
if you do want to contact this evening, get in contact.
Brandon's in.
If there's anything, hello, Brandon.
I hope that's just coffee in that cup. Yes, it is. It definitely is. I would show you, but I'd probably spill it all over the computers, and then Dave would cry.
Yeah, please don't, not the computers.
And then I would cry after Dave picked me up. So, did I tell you we've got Brandon in the
hello, Brandon.
In the Facebook, in that day of Facebook. So anyway, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to start a series. And the series is, because there's, as I said earlier on, there's 27 subjects in this series. So
that's going to take till next year.
Exactly, yeah. So if we were only to talk, I mean, some of them will only take like half an hour to talk about, but if we were to talk about them for like a night each, then that's 27 weeks. You're not going to be around the beginning of next year.
No.
I'm not going to be around next week, and there's another week that you're not going to be around as well.
It's second week, I think it's in December. We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
So there'll be no show next week. Sadly, because some of us have got lives. No,
jobs.
It's for those who have listened regularly. Then they'll know that I'm a university student.
He's the oldest student in town.
Well, I'm the oldest student in my particular year. So yeah, technically I am.
I just love rubbing it in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
great.
But anyway, the next week is group week. So what we've got to do is as you know, I'm doing crime scene science. We've got to put all these crimes together and come up with a solution, and then present it on Friday. So Thursday is going to be our busiest day. So it's going to be all day and most of the night as well. So obviously, we're not going to be able to do the show next week. But we'll be back the week after.
Yes.
Or is that the week that you were?
I think so. I can't remember now.
But anyway, if you just watch Facebook, and we'll tell you on Facebook what's going on. So anyway, tonight, getting back to the show, because that's what we get for. Tonight we're going to be talking about pseudoscience. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. So get your lab coats on. We're going to be talking about pseudoscience. In actual fact, it's completely the opposite. Although it's quite an ironic name, because although it's pseudoscience, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
Because pseudoscience includes beliefs, theories, or practices that have been considered scientific but have no basis in science. Or in scientific fact. This could mean that they were either disproved scientifically, or they can't be tested scientifically,
right.
Or there is no, when they have done it, there's no scientific proof that it actually exists. Basically, it's a negative connotation. So it's where they've turned around and said, yeah, you may say these things exist, but there's no proof behind it. So pretty much it's what you would class as the umbrella that paranormal fits under, because obviously the paranormal is unexplained. There's no proof behind it, so therefore it comes under pseudoscience. But there's lots of other things come under pseudoscience. One of them, which we all know is false, because it's 2019. But one of them was the 2012.
Oh, end of the world.
End of the world, yes,
yeah.
Exactly. The doomsday scare of 2012. excuse me.
Well, was that not all to do with the mayor?
It was to do with the main calendar.
Yeah.
And basically what it was that the year 2012 was the last year that they wrote about in the main calendar.
Yeah.
Now, there was lots of theories. There was obviously the theory that the world was going to end, and that's the reason why the main calendar didn't go any further, because you're not going to write about something that isn't going to be around anymore. But then there was also the fact of they just get to 2012 and they just went, yeah, fair enough.
It's like the end of the year, the end of December, when your calendar runs out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gotta take that nice calendar off the wall.
Yeah. Well, unless you call Paddy McGough, I think I've still got it. I think it's actually 2012. It's calendar that's still on my wall.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So obviously, that as we know, it didn't happen.
Mm.
It was meant to be December the 21st. Was meant to be the last day on Earth.
Yes.
Or the last day of Earth.
Was it? It was the day before the solstice, wasn't it?
Yes,
solstice
it was.
is
Yeah.
the 22nd.
Yeah. Basically what it was the Mayan calendar on the 21st of December 2012 displayed the equivalent of a string of zeros, like the odometer of a car.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it reset. So that's what they would say would be the end of the world. Obviously it wasn't, because as I say, we're sitting here almost
unless
on the 21st of December 2019, and
7
we're
years
still
on.
here. Unless, as I said once before, we're all dead. And
It's a matrix.
I think we're on about the meteor hitting the Earth, weren't we? We were on about that, and saying that if it hit, then we could all be dead. Therefore, it's a fantasy.
The thing is, though, is like you hear people talk about things like parallel universes and things like that.
And that's exactly what Christine said in the Facebook. Stop calling it the Facebook Paddy. And that's exactly what Christine said on Facebook. I did it, and we are all living in a different reality.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
You see, I had actually heard there was where it was going to be the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah.
And somebody actually suggested that it was going to be that subtle, where in future, I don't know, like 40 years from now, we'll be able to turn around and say 2012 was the time when this changed and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I've heard it equated to so many different things like climate change. I've heard it do, obviously it was going to be the end of the world. It was going to be when aliens were going to come.
Yeah.
It was going to be disclosure from the governments of the world, and they're going to tell us that Bob the alien's been living down in area 51 for the last.
I'm sure you've got something against Bobs.
Not at all.
Every time you use a generic name, it's always Bob.
I just blame Blackadder.
Hi.
But no, it's just a random name. It's just because there's nobody called Bob around anymore. I don't think I've spoken to a Bob in years.
I actually have a couple of Bobs friends on Facebook, and ironically enough, one of them I didn't actually realise was in the military police with me, and it wasn't. And I've been friends with him for a few years on Facebook, and then it wasn't until I saw an actual picture of him. I went, "Oh, that's Bob."
Excellent.
And, but I'd actually been friends with him on Facebook for ages, and then realised who he actually was.
Brilliant.
So that's obviously 2012, and it did happen, and we, as Christine has said, we were living in a different reality, or the most likely one is it didn't happen, and we're still here. Ancient aliens. Another of the pseudoscience, So ancient aliens, obviously, I'm not sure if one of the lore podcasts that we're going to be playing later on actually tells you about a digger, or about an area that they're digging up, and they come across a piece of metal. It's I don't know if it's called the wedge or something like a big triangle or something. But the metal is made from metal. This thing. So let's say it was Hadrian's Wall,
Yeah.
So it wasn't Hadrian's Wall, but let's say it was Hadrian's Wall. They were digging up the foundations of Hadrian's Wall, and they came across this piece of metal, and this piece of metal couldn't have been
From that time.
because the metal
Because it
didn't
would-
exist.
If the obviously if you sort of pick, you excavate somewhere and you pull a piece of metal out, usually it's things like coins and stuff, and you can date it to
That's
the
right.
time.
Yeah,
And there's that usual bit where I always remember we had one of the guys at school when I was young. He was talking about archaeology, and he actually said, he goes, if you all reach in your pocket now and pull out a 10, a 5 or 10 pence piece or a 2 pence piece, can you tell us what the date is on it? Well, of course, the whole class gave like variety of dates over like 10, 15 years or something. So it isn't that accurate, but it can give you a rough idea of where it was. But again, I think I've heard about this one, where they found this metal.
Yeah, but apparently one of the metals that they found, or one of these metals that were coated the actual wedge, is what they put on diggers to wrap the actual, the bucket that digs.
Yeah.
They wrap them in this metal, because it doesn't give off sparks.
Yeah, super hard.
It begins with a D, but I can't remember what it is.
I've got we've got the expert as well, so not a million miles away.
But like as they dig, obviously, it's for like if they're digging around gas mains or anything like that, because it doesn't give off sparks. And what they're saying is that this thing was made out of this metal. Now this metal couldn't have been around in that particular year. And it was obviously, worn as well. So it wasn't like somebody just planted it. Or when it was carbon dated, it was dated as being thousands of years old.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is, or what the skeptics say, is that this metal oxidizes very, very quickly. So if it was the tooth of one of these buckets, one of these shovels that the excavators use, if it's the tooth of one of them and it's covered in this whatever, begin with D, then once the water and air got to it, it pretty much oxidized straight away. So therefore, when you carbon date something like that, it would show to be older than what it actually is.
You see, I think it's a really, really interesting one. This is something that I really, because obviously this is one of the things I'm actually genuinely interested in. When I look at sort of like the ancient buildings and things like that. Now, I watch the Ancient Aliens, the television program with George
on the History Channel.
The History Channel and stuff like that. And I watched, funny enough, this morning I watched a really, really interesting one, and it was to do with Sardinia, and it's to do with this moon well.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now, basically, in a nutshell, without going as much as I can remember, because I was kind of just like half watching it this morning. But what happens is in Sardinia, there's this moon well which is aligned, and it's celestially aligned, and it's supposed to have been there for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And basically, what they're saying is they said that the world flooded, and obviously it's the I think it's the Bible story with Noah.
Yeah.
And then there's the Sodom and Gomorrah story as well. And what this guy was basically saying this morning, it was a guy from Oak Island. You know the guys, that's just another TV series on there, the guy where they're constantly digging to see if they can find this treasure.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were actually exploring this well, and when you actually go into this well's been there for like 4,000 years. And you couldn't get a piece of paper between the bricks, like the way that these big stones and stuff are going on. You cannot do it, and they've actually done carbon dating. They've gone in and cleared it out and stuff, and it's magnificent. I mean, it genuinely looks as though it's just been built yesterday.
Yeah.
But obviously they've uncovered like thousands of tons of rubble and earth and stuff, and there's signs of life in it. There's signs of like fossils and all that type of good stuff that you normally find. And then they started talking about the pyramids. They started talking about the building techniques.
That's the other one. That's ancient aliens, isn't it? How aliens built the pyramids. And
how they found there's something to do with there's a new theory now as well with the Sphinx as well, which is but you do look at these techniques, and I've always looked at it and I've always thought to myself, how did they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, even something like the Sphinx, even today, the difficulty it would be to build the Sphinx. So so you look back at the time that it's supposed to arrive, and and it's like sort of to make it then compared to now. If you take away all the technology that we have now, and as I say, we would struggle to make it now.
You see, yeah, and I mean, it's really, really interesting because one of the new theories with the Sphinx is that there was water going up to it at some point.
Yeah.
Part of the erosion that's actually on it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know whether you've noticed, but the bottom part's perfectly fine because it's been in the sand, but the top part's where it's been eroded. But what they're actually saying is,
it's got no nose or something.
Yeah, well, that's got something to do with the fact that during the Second World War there was lots of troops taking pot shots at it. Obviously, we don't mention that.
Yeah.
Whereas my granddad told us that story because that's where he was when he was out. That's probably one of the only things he did talk about the war. But there was actually water up to that point. And what they were actually, there's a new theory now. Well, I don't know how new it is, but they're actually saying now that it was something to do with the fact that it was to do with the pyramid energies and things like that. So obviously pseudoscience.
Yeah.
And again, the sort of it was supposed to be, it's aligned, it's on points around the Earth and things like that. And if you actually look at the grid system that they've laid over the Earth, Stonehenge, they're all connected somehow.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that's supposed to have come from aliens, wasn't it? Stonehenge.
Well,
there's all these different things. I mean, Easter Island, is it the heads on Easter Island?
Well, they're not actually heads, apparently. They're full size.
So again, obviously it's meant to be aliens that have put.
The best theory that I've heard about this so far is that obviously before life as we know it now, there was another form of intelligent life, and something happened, and
isn't that Prometheus?
Yeah,
Prometheus is based on that particular story, that we come from them big white giants.
Well, that's the story of Sardinia, where this well is. The well in Sardinia. I'll have to do a little bit of research into it and find out exactly what it's called. But it's this well is. They said it's to do with, and it was to do with when the earth flooded.
Yeah.
Because what they basically were saying was all these Bible stories are nothing actually to do with God and Jesus. They're just a set of stories that have been collected that people knew about, so that they go, oh yeah, I recognise that. Because they've been telling each other for years and years and years. And then they were just kind of put in where there was names inserted in where Jesus and Peter and all that. All those sort of names were inserted in, and it was kind of, if you go that theory, I mean, again, I'm not going to go down that road.
Oh no.
But it was really, really interesting. And the theories of how it's done. But I mean, like I said, the technology that we have now, they still couldn't recreate.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's you look at stuff like that, the pyramids, and if especially if there were England workmen. It's probably still on, 2,000 years time, it's still on building them. Because, I mean, it takes them weeks to fill up one on the road, doesn't it? But then you look at somewhere like Japan and China and places like that, and they replace a bridge overnight. Like, literally take a bridge out and put a new bridge in overnight, and we can't even fill a hole in the road in,
I've had numerous conversations over the last with different people about that theory, but... Because I was stuck in roadworks coming back from Newcastle yesterday, and it took me it was nearly an hour and 10 minutes to get out of Newcastle yesterday.
Well, they put the cones out and then you don't see them for weeks, do you? Then
I've got a cracking conspiracy theory. Cracking conspiracy theory for you. Gateshead, right? Gateshead traffic lights.
Which ones?
The ones where you come off Tyne Bridge.
All right, Askew Road,
Yeah, on the Askew Road, 184.
Yeah.
They only let 3 cars through at a time in busy periods.
Right. Well, it's the 167, isn't it?
That's the one,
Aye.
And I'm not convinced.
Road's coming down from it.
Somebody somewhere in Gateshead Council sitting with a couple of video cameras on that one, sniggering. I can nearly hear them laughing because they release all the cars as they know I'm going to do it, and then they get. But it was literally yesterday. It took me nearly 30 minutes to do half a mile.
Yeah.
Because the lights changed. They let 2-3 cars out.
Yeah.
Then the lights changed and let another 2 or 3 cars out, but the ones that were coming off the other side were buses and stuff. And it was just crackers. But that's my conspiracy theory.
Well, as you know, I work over Gateshead.
Yeah.
and I probably spend most of my time talking about Gateshead Council. It's like people that I pick up,
Yeah.
you know, and slagging them off. Not me slagging them off, because obviously I don't live in Gateshead, but the people that I pick up, you know, they just haven't got a good word to say about them. You know, and
I used to live in Gateshead, and I was in a council property, and I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't got a lot of faith in them.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, but it's Gateshead Council run by ancient aliens. And then on our very first show, we discussed the Apollo moon landings.
Yes.
And obviously there's lots of theories, and the one that piqued our interest was the one by Sonia, and it was the moon landings happened, but not when they said it happened. I actually watched a program not so long ago where that, and I'd never heard that theory before until Sonia mentioned it, but I actually watched a program about the space race, and it was literally America wanted to get there before anybody else because the amount of money. Oh no, there's a program. There's a program or a film which is actually about the Russians getting there first. It's like changes history. I can't remember what it's called. But I think it's on Netflix, and it's something to do with the Russians landing a man on the moon first.
All right, we'll have to look out for it.
I'll have to have a look and see what it's called. And obviously history changes because, you know, it was the big race to the moon, and America on NASA, it got beat by the communists.
Wow.
By the cosmonauts, isn't it?
Yeah, cosmonaut, comedy cosmonaut.
So there was that, and obviously there was other things about Neil Armstrong and this, that, and the other that was mentioned. And then sticking with space, we then have your favourite subject, astrology. The beliefs that humans are affected by the position of celestial bodies. Right.
Yes. Very, very interesting. But I've got to be honest with you, right? I think there is definitely something to do with the full moon, and I'm pretty sure being a taxi driver, you'll agree with that one.
We're trying to see. You're trying to see like
when I've noticed on a full moon, Paddy, when you.
Well, I'm out and about. There is, because that's where lunacy comes from.
Yeah, the lunatic.
Because it's lunar, the moon. So there is some. I mean, if something affects the tidal pattern of a planet, then it must have some sort of pull.
83% water, isn't it? The human body.
Yeah, exactly. So it must at some point affect the human, because it affects. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you how big the oceans are, but
no, 2/3 of the Earth.
Well, exactly.
It's
so
over 2/3,
and it's controlled by the moon.
See, this is my favorite
one. The tides are controlled by the moon, so therefore, if they're controlling the moon, as you say, you know, we're, you know, mostly water. Then
I had a wonderful conversation with somebody who is a police officer,
right,
about this once. And they actually said that they're...
What, did you blame it on the moon when you were robbing the bank or something?
No.
It was the moon.
No, definitely not. No. But no, he had... the lad who I was talking to actually told us, he says one of the worst things he used to dread was actually working a full moon. And he says, especially when the full moon was on pay weekend or just after pay weekend. He said because it was kind of...
Yeah, everybody went crazy.
Yeah, he said it was like and he said it was always, he said there was no scientific theory to it.
No.
And he couldn't have turned around and said, yes, this is actually happening or not happening or whatever, but he did actually turn around and say, he said, absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
One of the worst shifts ever. And he says it always ended up where it got to something like, I think he said about 10:30.
Yeah.
In the area that he worked, 10:30, the cells were full.
I think
he says it actually got to the point where
it just has to be a bank holiday, and you know they're going crazy in Newcastle and Gateshead. So if you have a bank holiday and the full moon, then
and the pay weekend,
all together, then it goes absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, as I say, that's where they get the word lunatic from, isn't it? Lunacy. Is the moon, and so it's got to affect people, and obviously, you know, But that's obviously the moon affecting people, whereas astrology is obviously the stuff of nightmares. No,
it is. I mean, I do kind of check in every now and again, having a look at sort of like stars and things like that in the newspaper and things. And I know we've had this discussion in the past.
Yeah.
Not on the radio, but we have had it, and it is. It's one of those situations where I think if it does help you, if it gives you that little bit of.
Yeah, I fully get the whole comfort bit.
Yeah, the comfort.
But it's this, like, you know, you're going to get a great new job, you're going to meet the love of your life, you're going to end up winning the lottery, you know, that sort of stuff. If it's used for entertainment purposes, then I haven't got a problem with it.
Yeah. But if you bet your life on it, then
yeah, exactly. If you are living your life by the stars, and your stars say this weekend you're going to win the lottery, and
I hope so.
You use your last £2. It's £2 now, isn't it?
£2.50.
Is it?
Yeah.
Whoa, it's gone up 50 pence since the last time
That's the Euro Millions, and then it's £2 from the thing. But
right.
Tom said I did have a win on the Euro Millions the other night.
Right, yeah, we would have done it.
No, it was £2.50. It was £2.70.
Well, so you got your money back.
Just about. I made 20 pence.
But yeah, so if it's your last £2.50 and you go and spend it on the Euro lottery because you've been told that you're going to. I was going to say, don't go too far with this trip off here. Don't forget we're on Facebook.
I know I'm read up.
But yeah, if you spend your last on the lottery because of the fact that you've been told
you're going to be lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then, you know, and I mean, there's what you call it, Mystic Meg. She covered because they didn't have anybody to read the stars, so she started writing them. You know, it's a proven fact that she made them up. But then all of a sudden she became Mystic Meg.
The thing is, apparently she went off and did some kind of course, apparently, and she learned how to do it properly. And I mean,
yeah.
Fair play. People do make money out of it. I mean, there was the other guy. I think when we had that conversation about it, that time we were talking about Jonathan Kaner, because his son's now taking over, because he's no longer with us.
Right.
And I mean, the thing is, like I say, if it gives you that little bit of comfort, if it puts a little bit of a smile on your face for the day or whatever, absolutely all over that. That's great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making my life plans on it though.
No. But some people do. Some people literally get up and the first thing they do is read the stars.
Well, I know, but see, I mean, I'm laughing about it. We're talking about the lottery, and I always remember that time when I actually won the lottery.
Right. And then you start saying you would.
No, it wasn't. Right. It wasn't.
Because that's the other thing. If my stars say I'm going to win the lottery, how many other people are Leos? So how many other people are going to win the lottery at the same time? So your £2.50 is going to be nothing because I'm going to be lucky if I get 10 pence.
12 star signs, isn't there? So that's, if you imagine a 12th of the population.
So there's what, 7.7 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
So even if you divide it by 12, you're still talking quite a lot. Yeah.
I'm not even. Do you know what? I'm not even going to bother. I was going to put that in the calculator and find out there. But no. I actually did win the lottery.
Right.
I had two jobs at the time.
Right.
Because I was doing a day job and then I was sort of doing a night job as well.
Right.
And I was standing at my night job with the numbers that I had written down, and I put the numbers in my wallet, and I was thinking, that's it, I've won the lottery. And it was a syndicate.
Yeah.
And it would have been about, I reckon it was about 600 grand each, £600,000 each.
Right.
Absolutely. And I nearly walked in and handed me notice in this other job.
Then you realised that you hadn't put it on?
No.
Oh, right.
I was dead excited. And in my break, I was on the phone. I was trying to get hold of the person who was in
charge.
Yeah. You know what's coming down. Yeah, she hadn't put it on. She forgot. She was a bit sheepish when she came into work very late on Monday.
Yeah, a bit sheepish. She'd have been living with the sheep.
Sleeping with the fishes or whatever it's called. And it was, she actually had to get everybody into the room and actually confess that she'd neglected to put the lottery on because she was too busy and she hadn't done it correctly. And I was,
oh, that's not good.
No, it wasn't. She didn't.
Yeah,
she didn't get.
it's one flavour of the month.
She didn't get Employee of the Month or
No,
Employee
no,
of the Year or the Employee of
yeah.
the Decade.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Did you see that in our stores? I wonder.
Never mind. It was actually, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it up the stores, like I say, 7.7 billion divided by 12 is, lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even work like that, because obviously it's not 7.7 billion people divided by 12. But even if you were to do that,
well, I know what you've got. There's the Chinese horoscopes as well.
Or well, obviously
the
UK lottery. If we say the UK lottery, then we've got what, 65 66 million people.
Oh, there's more than that, isn't there now?
I've got no idea.
I thought we were on.
We might be closer to 70.
I thought we were on the 80.
Are we?
Aye.
Whoa, what's going on? But anyway, however many you've got, even then, if you divide them by 12, so if you say there's 72 million, we'll say, just because it's a nice, easy figure, what's 72 million divided by 12? I said that is almost like I knew what I was talking about. 72 million divided by 12 is obviously 6 million. So you've got 6 million people who actually would have the same star sign as you. So let's say the lottery is 14 million. Oh, you would actually get 2 point something million. So that wouldn't be too bad.
Oh no, sorry. 2019.
Yeah.
Registered 67 million.
See, I was right.
67 and a half.
So
just over
you
67 and a half
get
million.
over £2 million. So that's not actually bad.
Yeah.
But still, astrology doesn't exist. Well, it does exist, but it's. I mean, Russell Grant. Is it Russell Grant?
Yeah.
Because there's Russell Brand, there's Russell Grant, and then there's Russell.
It's Russell Grant.
Right. Yeah. Russell Grant. I mean, he's made a canny bit of money telling people, hasn't he? Oh, so you're gonna get married to.
He was. I always used to find him highly amusing. I can't remember. There was one TV program I once saw him on, and they were trying to wait. I don't know whether it was something like Beatles About or something like that. They were winding him up, and he was a proper. Was it? Did he do on the jungle? What do they call it? It's on now.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
I'm sure.
I don't know, Steve. You're all about me watching kiddies programs. I didn't watch I'm a Celebrity.
What?
I don't get them so. At the beginning, I used to watch it. Don't get me right. Don't get me wrong. I used to watch it. But I just don't get the route they've gone down, because it's now more about let's eat a kangaroo's testicle, which is pretty gross.
What one thing to say to that? Balls to that.
I mean, I'm not even going to mention, because obviously you've seen who's gone in this year.
No, I haven't.
So I mean, all right. We're one of the people that's gone into Caitlyn Jenner. So we're not even going to go down that route of talking about testicles.
I tell you, I think the last time I watched it was that clip when that woman, when she fainted. When she fainted, and it was like she should have got an Oscar for it.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
That was the last. I think that was the last one I actually.
Somebody
watched.
Tell me who that was, please. Get in contact and tell us.
She's a doctor as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
She sieves people's poo.
Yes.
She goes through people's poo, doesn't she? Gillian McKeith.
That's it, Gillian McKeith. Yeah, Gillian McKeith. Yeah. And she when she went down, I'm gonna tell you what it is. Seriously, she should have got an Academy Award.
And you can see it, couldn't you? You could say, "Oh."
And the winner for tonight's Academy Award for Best Dramatic Dive on Screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, she hit the ground like a ton of lead, didn't she? And you could see the whole dramatic. Oh, soon.
It was almost like a 1950s swim. Yeah. No,
my head.
I can't do this.
Never mind. We digress again.
We do, but isn't that what we always do? But yeah, so astrology. So if you're out there and you are reading the paper,
it's a bit of fun. I mean, some people do it.
Absolutely. I've read them many times, and but I read them.
So, question for you: Have you ever like looked at it and got? Because I mean, it's one of them things. I mean, I always remember we used to have a newspaper at work, and I always used to pick the paper up and just have a look.
Yeah.
And I'd have a look in one and have a look in the other, just to see which one was going to go in my favour that day.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have the sun today. This looks good. The mirror, not so much.
Yeah, I'm taking the mick. I'm taking the mick a little bit. But the thing is there's been a couple of times when I've looked at it and went, yeah. And
but then again, isn't that just a coincidence?
Yeah.
That sometimes they hit.
Yeah, I
You
mean, like I said, the only one I can, the one I can have a little bit of a giggle with was, can you remember the Grand National? There was a many years ago. There was a horse called Generous that won the Grand National. Well, anyway, I was at work on a Saturday morning.
That's the horse I can remember winning the national was Red Rum.
Oh, there you go. Is that in black and white? No, it was.
He wins. He wins every year.
Yeah.
Red Rum wins every year.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it had the.
He's buried and he stood up.
Yeah.
With his nose across the finishing line.
Support, yeah.
So he wins every year. He wins the technically.
Yeah.
He's the first one across the line every year.
It said on the stars. It said you're feeling generous today.
Right.
And there's a lot.
What? So you were touching horses?
I knew you'd go. I knew he'd do it. So it's actually said you are feeling generous today. And one of the lads turned around to us because he used to do the sweepstakes thing at work.
Right.
And he turned around and he said, "Which horse do you want?" And I was like,
"Is there one called Generous?"
No. I said, "Can you read them out?" And he went, "Diddly, Generous." I went, "I love that one. Thank you very much." And I put me £5 in because it was a £5, £5 in. 200 quid.
Huh?
200 quid, and I was joking, I was laughing, and I thought, that was kind of, but £200.
Yeah, but isn't that the thing, that something like that happens, then you've read something, and obviously the coincidence, the crossed over, but there's a lot of people would read that and go, "Whoa,
yeah, you were told you were going to win." But no, you see, what I also did as well is it was a one and only time I've ever been in a betting shop in my life and put a bet on.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a clue.
And I says to the guy behind the counter, I says, "I want to put a thing on Generous." He goes, "How much do you want to put on?" I says, "I want to put," I know it was a tenner.
Yeah.
And he went, it'll be X amount of money and X amount. Seriously, he started talking Swahili at that point. I was like, "What? There's a tenner."
Yeah, somebody once tried to tell me the odds. I can get the whole, 10-1, 5-2, and all that. But then when it goes 11-4 and 7-3, and it's like, that's it. That's the shift that somebody works, man. That's got nothing to do with odds. But and I can't understand how they work that out.
No.
Why don't they not just say, that if it wins, you're going to get 2-1?
Apparently, somebody I was talking to said they'll actually tell you now how much you'll get if it wins, whatever. Yeah. But I put it, and it was, do I want it each way? Do I want it this? Do I want it on the nose? Do I want this to happen? Whatever.
You want it on the nose?
Well, that was, Anyway, I got that was another 180 quid. So it was £380 in total.
Right.
That I had.
Well, all because of your start.
All because I saw the name Generous in the start. And I tell you what it is, for all the times that I've looked, that was probably what, a couple of thousand to one hit.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean,
always have a giggle about it.
Well, exactly. Obviously, it can happen, and it has happened. But there's people out there who get up on the morning, and the first thing they do is read the stars.
I'm going to have a bad day today.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stop in because I'm going to have a bad day, then the fall down the stairs. Or, I'll trip over the cat.
That's not very lucky, is it?
Well, exactly, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying the stars say they're going to have a bad day, and then they're tripping up over the cat or falling down the stairs. So then it's like, "Oh, look, my stars said I was going to have a bad day today, and I've tripped over the cat, and my cat's called Lucky."
And it's, I was going to say, was it... If I can't remember, is it a black cat crosses your path or something? It's bad luck.
But it depends on who you talk to, because some people say that a black cat crossing your path is good luck, and then others say a black cat crossing your path is bad luck. Mm-hmm. So it depends on who you talk to. I mean, I'm sure our paranormal expert out there, Christine, she seems to have gone to sleep because she hasn't said no for a while. If she's still out there, she might be able to tell us.
Is she on Facebook? Or
well, there's somebody watching us on Facebook.
Somebody.
yeah. We've had a few people in coming and going, but at the moment we've only got the one person.
I was going to say, I'm hoping we're not actually we're not talking to ourselves again, because
yeah. But I mean, she's there, both in Facebook. I nearly said it on Facebook.
You cannot help it, can you? You genuinely cannot help the. He's just having a small coughing fit there.
I'm just short to death.
You alright there?
Yeah.
He's back in there. Back in the room.
Back in the room. So that's astrology. Now this one always amazes me. Because it's been debunked many times, this one, and yet people still to this day believe it. Crop circles.
Now, right now, you know when we had a conversation about this on the crop circle. Yes, we had a conversation about crop circles.
I must have been asleep.
And you know how that? No, I definitely remember having the conversation about crop circles. Now, I have actually spoke to
No,
yeah, possibly. No, I have. Joking aside, there has been some scientific, and I forgot to tell you about this. I was going to tell you about this last week. Was it last week or the week before? It was 1 week I was going to tell you about this. Anyway, what they've actually done is they've actually done some research into crop circles. And I had those, you know, the two guys that had done all the ones down south and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So what they've done is they have actually, and this is why this keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And this might explain why it keeps rearing its head.
Yeah.
There's two types of crop circles in the United Kingdom.
Right.
There's the ones that have going round, and what they do is the ones with the boards on the string, and they do it. And what they actually do is they've actually done it forensically, where they've looked at how the stems are snapped.
Yeah.
Now there's two types of stem. The ones that the guys are using on the board because they've recreated it in the lab conditions.
Yeah.
There's also another one,
right,
which is actually done where it looks as though it's actually had extreme heat, and it looks as though it's been compressed. So if you can imagine a spring being, and obviously, I know we've got people on Facebook, but I'll have to describe this for you because I'm gesturing to Paddy in the studio with my fingers. If you imagine a spring, and imagine the spring is the actual the wheat or the grain or whatever it is like that, and what it actually does is it compresses it. So as if you're squeezing the spring together, and it pops, and then it falls over.
Right.
And they've actually tested it, and apparently it shows signs of a very, very light radiation.
Yeah.
And it also shows signs of heat damage when they've forensically tested it.
Yeah.
So what they've actually said is, or what this guy's actually said, there is two types. There's the ones, these guys that have said, yes, it was us going around and faking it. And there's apparently other ones where it couldn't be recreated by a human.
Right.
So, and that's a scientific test that he's done.
Right.
In the studio, and I can't remember the name of the guy, but it was incredible.
But, I'll just cut you off there because Christine's got to go back to the stars.
Oh.
What do you think about star signs being your personality? Just, I am Aries and supposed to be a born leader, and I know I am not.
Do you know what? There's a lot of, I mean, if you look at the Chinese signs, I mean, apparently I was born under the year of the, I think it was the year of the rat or something.
Oh! Yeah. Damn, is a rat. I think I'm chicken or something.
And there's like, I know somebody that's supposed to be a monkey. Now the thing is there's supposed to be all these like traits and stuff like that. There is a lot of people who will turn around and go, I'm a typical Leo, or I'm a typical Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, I mean, I've had people say to me, you're a Leo, you are. I'm like, yeah.
And he kind of, But no, so there is, apparently, supposedly, I mean, especially the Chinese one, and this, I mean, obviously the Chinese one's been going a lot longer than the one that we
the Chinese one isn't, they don't have 12 though, it's years.
It's years. You're born under the year of, and you're supposed to show certain sort of personality traits and business traits and things like that. Now, do you know what? Seriously, if it's, I mean, I can look at some of the traits that I've got, and then sometimes on Facebook, excuse me, or other sort of like, you know, social media things will say, Scorpios are this, Scorpios are that, Scorpios are the other. Gotta be honest with you, probably 50% of it, I could probably go,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then,
there's lots of traits that everybody could be.
But I'm also you know, people say, oh, but the firstborn child always did it, and then there's the middle child syndrome, and then there's the little, you know.
Well, there's all this, the fire sign shouldn't be with a water sign, the earth sign shouldn't be with a sky sign.
And I've heard them saying, you know, you've got to be, and I've got to be totally honest with you, right? Again, probably 50% of what I've read about Scorpio, I could probably go, do you know what? Yeah, I could probably fit that.
Christian says I don't. It doesn't make sense to me, and you're probably nothing like it.
Yeah, like I say, it depends if you want to be. If that's kind of
well, the thing is, if somebody says to you, you're a Scorpio, this is how a Scorpio acts, and you are one of these people who live by the stars, then you will become what a Scorpio.
You'll make it fit yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, like I say, is it's like I've had it a couple of times where people have turned around to me and went, "Oh, you're a typical Scorpio. You're dead passionate about stuff. You're this, that, and the other."
Yeah.
Well, I am passionate about things. I get the bit between my teeth on, so I guess I am. But but there's also sort of like other things.
I sounded like Andy from Little Britain. Not you.
Yeah, but there's also things like we say. I mean, I heard a cracking one a couple of weeks ago. It's apparently if you drink black coffee, you're a psychopath.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and ironically enough, as soon as I saw it, guess what I thought about?
Yeah. Here's Stevie.
Here's Steve. Yeah. So the first ever crop circle was seen in 1678. But there's a third. So this is why I was saying about it before.
Yeah.
There's a third type of crop circle, and it's the one that the wind does, because obviously
like a vortice
spiral, and that's what they're seeing this one in 1678 was. So they don't actually. So although it was the first one in Australia, it's not classed as a crop circle.
You see, because I tell you what was quite interesting. Because just nipping back to that one, the guy who I can't really remember whether because there was I read something on it, and then it was on one of the science programs I was watching, and the guy said he goes they had this. They actually said to this guy, they gave this bloke's theory out. This science. I can't remember the guy's name for the life of this, but they said this. Whatever, we'll call him Bob.
Just for a change.
Yeah, so Bob the scientist, and they gave
Bob the scientist.
Yeah, Bob the scientist.
Dr. Bob the scientist.
Bob. They gave his theory and said,
Professor wouldn't even be
all right, Professor Bob gave his theory and said, this is the two types that I've seen. So he said, you have this one here, and he says you can clearly see, and he had photographs of the stalks, and it's quite interesting because if you look at the stalk and you see that it's snapped.
Yeah.
If you were to go outside now and get a piece of grass,
that's what the Gurkhas do, isn't it? When they're hunting people, they look at like grass and stuff like that, and the way it's snapped and the way it's bent.
The Native American Indians with the trackers and stuff like that, and that's the type of stuff they look for, and they can actually look at it and go, that there is a man-made.
Heading off that direction because of the way the grass is bent.
So this one, but this one here, when they actually showed this one, they physically could not. They said to the guys, when they had the two. It was actually the two blokes who'd done loads down south in. I can't remember, it was Bedfordshire or wherever it was, and they said to him, right, this is what we want you to recreate. Yeah. And there you go. Yeah. And he went, because these guys had obviously said, oh, we've done loads, we do it for a laugh, and we had a couple of drinks in the pub one night and decided to do it. So he said, he went, right, great stuff. And he says, just go out and do it. Yeah. So the guys went off and did it. And then they had the drone shot looking down. And it was pretty good, mind. It was pretty spectacular. And it was like really, really good. And he went, right, he says, okay. He says, now, let's have a look. So they got him down on the side and you could see where it snapped. Whereas this one, it's kind of, if you imagine it, like I said, it's compressed. It pops and then it goes over on its side. But it's this like when they actually do a chemical analysis, when you have this carbon present because it's been burnt, because it's not like burnt with a fire, but a heat source has been present, and he says you can, and then
so like an iron sort of thing,
that type of thing. But it's as if it's been like pushed down and then it's gone over. Do you know what I mean? As if there's been a weight. But then if you think about it, if you went to a piece of, I don't know, like a piece of I don't know, like wheat. Yeah. And you put your hand on the top of the wheat. There's no way we could actually force it down to make it look as though it's popped.
No. I mean, you would have to. It would have to be something big and that pressed down all at the same time.
But he, as a scientist, he can't explain. He can't turn around and say, this is the process that actually happens.
And that's what I was saying right at the beginning. The may be scientific evidence, but there's no scientific proof. Yeah. So the evidence might be there that there could be something, but it's never been proven. So therefore, it comes under the pseudoscience because there's scientific evidence, but there's no scientific fact. So and that's what's happened with these crop circles.
Oh,
there was a guy in 1966 in Australia said that he saw a flying saucer in his field, but this has been debunked by many witnesses who said no, it wasn't. So he obviously basically what happened was in Australia in 1966, farmer said he saw a flying saucer rise up from a swampy area and fly away. When he went to investigate, he saw a roughly circular area of debris and apparently flattened reeds and grass, which he assumed had been made by the alien spacecraft, but which police investigators said was likely caused by natural phenomena such as a dust devil or water spout. So they're talking about the wind and what have you. It was referred in the press as flying saucer nest. This story is more a UFO report than a crop circle report.
I'm just going to have a quick see. I'm having a little bit of it.
The first real crop circles didn't appear until the 1970s, when simple circles began appearing in the English countryside. The number and complexity of the circles increased dramatically, reaching a peak in 1980s and 90s, when increasing elaborate circles were produced, including the complex mathematical equations.
You see, the thing is what they've actually said is that I think he actually said that there was so many. There's this percentage, and it's such a. And the guy's actually said of all the crop circles that he goes out and investigates, he reckons it's only like 1 or 2%, which actually you could actually pass off as going. That's not the lad snipping out after a couple of days.
But it says in July 1996, one of the world's most complex and spectacular crop circles appeared in England across a highway from the mysterious and world-famous Stonehenge monument. It was astonishing fractal pattern called a Julia set.
Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah.
And while some simple or rough circles might be explained away as the result of a strange weather phenomenon, this one unmistakably demonstrated intelligence. The only question was whether it was terrestrial or extraterrestrial.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually pop that up on the
on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm popping that on Facebook there now. And that was the Stonehenge one.
I think that's the most complex one ever.
Yeah.
I don't know, because obviously the other ones are just circles.
What they've actually said is when they've actually talked about the this one here is what somebody's actually suggested it could be.
Yeah.
Is we haven't got there'll be a mathematical what do I call it? What's the word I'm looking for? A mathematical logarithm.
Right. Yeah.
Where when we decipher it,
yeah,
it will give us a message of that's what.
Yeah.
That's what this guy.
I mean, but carrying on about that one.
Yeah.
It was making the design all the more mysterious. It was claimed that the circle appeared in less than an hour, and during the daytime. As we know, most of them appear at night time because that's when hoaxes are out and under cover of darkness and this, that, and the other. It became one of the most famous and important crop circles in history. It was, however, later revealed that the circle had in fact been made in about 3 hours by 3 hoaxes very early in the morning. It simply hadn't been noticed until the following afternoon when spotted from an airplane.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like I say, is why. I mean, it's one of those things again, is it? When we're talking about mediums and that the other week.
Yeah.
It is one of them situations, unfortunately, where there is people who are messing around out there and they're actually spoiling it if there is anything, if it is a real phenomenon.
Well, ironically enough, the very next paragraph states, unlike other mysterious phenomena such as psychic powers, ghosts, or Bigfoot, there is no doubt that crop circles are real. The only question is what actually made them.
I mean, that's it. I mean, like I said, there's one of the what I think was one of the stories that they actually talked about. The guy actually said that he saw a series of lights across the top of the one that he was looking down into a valley.
Yeah.
And he saw that the lights circling around the area. And he said I think the footage that he had was actually on his phone, and you could actually see it. It just looked like it actually looked like a balloon.
Yeah.
A white balloon. That's the way I would describe it.
It actually looked like
and it was floating around.
See it back again.
Yeah, it was just literally, it was just hovering around, sort of like just floating around, but it was actually light. You could actually see that there was a light inside it. So
Yeah.
you know, it couldn't have been a balloon, or
Yeah,
could have been something reflecting.
Yeah.
It didn't look as though there was anybody
Yeah,
down there.
exactly,
It didn't look
yeah.
as though it was a drone or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I said, it's footage. I haven't really seen the footage
Yeah,
up close and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But your initial gut reaction would be, is, yeah, that looks a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, going back to what you were saying about messages, there's a message in one of them, like when deciphered, said, "Believe there is good out there. Beware of the bearers of false gifts in their broken promises, and we oppose deception." All apparently in English, but obviously, you know,
Yeah.
in the code, but all apparently wrote in English. So when the code was translated, it was English that they were wrote in, rather than.
Well, I mean, it goes back to that one, isn't it? It's the fact of, is there intelligent life? I was listening to one of the Howard Hughes Unexplained podcasts today in the car.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've said this a number of times. I'm a massive fan of Howard Hughes and some of the stuff, because he does kind of look into things, and he's very objective when he looks at certain things. And they were talking about the fact of, if there wasn't like life out there. And so this guy he's a British professor.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he says he finds it highly amusing that NASA keeps saying that they keep finding water on Mars.
Oh, right, yeah.
We found water on Mars. There's frozen water on Mars and stuff. He said they'd known that there was frozen water on Mars since 1976. He said, but what they're looking for is microbial life.
Yeah. Well, that's what you call him. I was going to call him Brian Conley, but it's not Brian Conley. Oh man, he used to be in the Dream. Brian.
I know the lead singer.
No, he was the drummer.
Oh no.
Or he played some instrument or something. But he's the scientist.
I don't know.
Oh, what do you call him, man? Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what he did a show, a TV program, and one of the things.
Is that one with Dara O'Brien?
I don't know. He might have done it something like that. He might have done it. He might have been with Dara O'Brien at some point, but this particular one, he went to the North Pole and went to an ice waterfall and took some of the water and looked under the microscope, and
it was teeming with life.
And that's what he said. This is the sort of thing that's on the likes of Mars and places like that. So we may be the only humanoid type of life, but there is life out there.
But you see, the thing is, what was really, really interesting, this guy who actually said, he goes, the thing is, he says, when I've actually sent the probes up to Mars, it's one of the probes